Hi, I'm Crystal Stump, founder and CEO of ABC Consulting and former Virginia ABC Special Agent from the Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority. Today's video is going to cover record keeping, the importance of record keeping, and how to be compliant regarding your records. Pour yourself a drink, you're going to need it. We're going to settle in here for a few minutes and talk a little bit about record keeping. It's a topic that gets a lot of Virginia alcohol licensees in a lot of trouble, and it's a good way to get your ABC license revoked. And it's a simple thing to really do. As a business owner, you really have to be able to do your record keeping properly. I mean, you need your records for so many things, not just to be compliant with the ABC authority, but you need it for your taxes, you need it for your bookkeeping, you need it for to know what your profit and loss is at the end of every month. I mean, when you go into this industry, this alcohol industry, it blows my mind how many people really have a lack of record keeping mindset. They don't really see the importance of it. Maybe it's just this industry, you know, you're so busy. I've owned and I've bought and sold restaurants. I know what it's like to be a restaurant owner, and I know how it just consumes your brain almost 24 hours a day. Even when you're sleeping, you're dreaming about, you know, what's going on at your restaurant and what's happening there and what is your staff doing or not doing. So I do get that it's very consuming of the mind, just operating a restaurant. But the record keeping is so important, and if you don't train your staff in a procedure or a system of how your record keeping needs to be done, you're going to set yourself up for a lot of problems with the ABC authority, with taxation, and not only that, but you don't know how much money you're losing every month. You don't know how much people are stealing from you. You don't know how much your staff is giving away in alcohol without doing some sort of record keeping. So I really want you guys to think about, before you open your business, what is your plan for record keeping? And have a plan in place. Talk to a bookkeeper. Hire somebody. If you don't have the time to do it, you're going to need to hire somebody to do it. We do help our clients with record keeping. One of the biggest things is making sure that you meet those monthly food sales every single month. You need to know what they are at the end of the month so that you know that you're compliant. Our clients will send us their point of sale report every month. We look it over. We look for errors on the report. We look for red flags. We calculate their ratio. We make sure they're hitting the minimum food sales. And what we find time and time again is errors made by staff on the point of sale, which is, if there's errors made by your staff because they either weren't properly trained, they made a mistake, they were busy, they just didn't pay attention, whatever the reason is, thankfully we're able to find them and get it fixed before this person operates for a whole year incorrectly. And an example would be, I just got a point of sale report from a client, and I'm looking at the point of sale report and I realize that the wine and beer category has no sales in it, none. And I thought that was a little odd. I knew I'd actually been in the location. I had seen people consuming beer, and I knew they sold beer and wine. So obviously that was a concern to me. And when I dug a little bit deeper into this, the staff was plugging all of the beer and wine sales into the liquor category. And this is a huge problem, because if you are a mixed beverage licensee, you are also not only required to meet $4,000 a month in food sales every month, but for your 12-month license period, you're required to hit a ratio, a food to liquor ratio. And wine and beer is not counted in that ratio. And a lot of people don't know that. And that's a huge help if that your wine and beer is not counted into that ratio. But for this person's situation, if at the end of the year, if he pulls his point of sale report, it looks like there were no wine and beer sold. Maybe he would have caught it. I don't know if he would have caught it a year from now. What if a bookkeeper was doing the review and they didn't know that they were selling wine and beer? And all of these wine and beer sales were being categorized in the mixed beverage. His ratio was so non-compliant, it wasn't even funny. And it was because a simple mistake by either the way the point of sale system was set up or staff was plugging those sales into the mixed beverage category. So paying attention and having a system in place and training your staff on how to do proper recording of the sales is so important. It is just, I can't stress that enough. It is so important. And a lot of people don't realize this, but you're required to keep records per ABC authority. They require you to keep records for 2 years on site. Okay, so you're going to have all of your records for the past 2 years at any given time when they come in to do an inspection. But also your record keeping has to be kept a certain way. You have to be able to show during an inspection what your food sales are, and your food sales have to be broken down into these categories: entrees and entrees and other food. And then you have to categorize the non-alcoholic beverage, the wine and the beer, and the mixed beverage, and even a category for to-go items. So right now I want you to go run a point of sale report for your last month's sales and see if your point of sale report is giving you those categories. I'm going to list them for you, okay? I'm going to put them on the screen so you can see the list, because this is what your report should be showing: entrees, other food, non-alcoholic beverage, wine and beer, and to go. Wine and beer can be combined. Again, entrees, other food, wine and beer, mixed beverages, and to go items. And when you add all of those items up, you should have a grand total, and that grand total should be your grand total on your point of sale report for that month. And you need to look at that, because a lot of times those don't match. And if those don't match, there's a problem somewhere and it needs to be figured out, okay? So if your point of sale doesn't pull out, a lot of point of sales even go maybe more in detail. Maybe their liquor is broken down by brand, or maybe their beer is broken down by draft or bottled beer. And that is okay if it's more detailed, because you can use an old-fashioned calculator, print that report out, and add up all the beer and add up all the wine, and then hand write that wine and beer total on your report. If your mixed beverage is broken down by brand, you can add them all up and put the total right there on the report. But what you have to know those totals. If the agent comes in, the ABC agent comes in to do an inspection, and you say, well, here's my sales, here's all my liquor sales, they're broken down by brand, the agent's going to be there longer, and they're not going to be happy that they got to pull out a calculator and they have to add it all up. Or here's my food, you add it up. I mean, you don't want your agent there any longer than possible, right? You do not want them there that long. So do it right, put it on your point of sale report for the monthly report, what those categories are, and then when the agent comes in, all you got to do is pull out that file drawer and say, here's my monthly sales reports for every month. These are my sales. I'm meeting my monthly sales requirement, because remember, wine and beer licensees, $2,000 a month in food, and of that $2,000, $1,000 has to be an entree. So that's why you have to know how much you did in entrees and how much you did in other food. Very important. Mixed beverage licensees, they have to do $4,000 a month in food, and of that $4,000, $2,000 is a form of an entree. So you got to show what your minimum entree sales are for each month. And then also for the mixed beverage licensees, they have that ratio requirement. I'm going to get into that in just a few minutes. But the ratio is not based on each month. So you might have a ratio that's non-compliant in January, but in February you pull it way up and it's compliant. So you're not in violation. But if you drop below $4,000 a month, 1 month in a 12-month period, then you're going to be in an ABC violation and probably just get a fine for that. You could lose your ABC license. It could be a revocation, but not likely. If it's a one-time situation, more than likely you'll get a written warning or a violation that results in a penalty. So you don't want that to become a habit. And if you are a seasonal business, you can actually close or you can surrender that ABC license during a period of time, and then you're not required to meet those sales. Okay? So the importance of this record keeping, guys, is just, making sure that you have records available for inspection. That's very important. You have what your minimum sales are every month printed out on your point of sale. Your point of sale report is categorizing the way that it should, and that is going to start you off on the right foot with your inspection. Having those records, having them available for inspection, and having them organized. I'm going to close out this video with this information and do a part 2 on this for more record keeping that goes into the ratio. So if you're a wine and beer restaurant licensee, you are not required to meet any form of ratio, liquor to food or wine and beer to food ratio. That does not apply to you. So if you're a mixed beverage licensee, you definitely want to tune into the part 2 of this video, record keeping part 2, so that you know how to meet that ratio. Did you find this video informative and educational? If you did, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be bringing out new videos like this weekly, and there's going to be a lot of topics that we're going to cover that I know will help you stay compliant and keep your business successful. Comment below, tell me about your experience with record keeping, and if you have any tricks for your record keeping, what's your favorite point of sale system that you use. Just comment below, like my channel, like the video, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.